We are now live. Welcome to the Alignment Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your esteemed and gracious host, Thomas Curry, and my co-host, Suzette. Welcome to the Alignment Podcast. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. Let me stop that real quick. Jesus Christ. Okay. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Had a little feedback in the background. But back to it. My co-host, Miss Suzette, is here in the house once again. And we have our esteemed guest, Miss Briann Hemp. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Sorry about the technical difficulty, but we have made it through the peril. Yes, indeedy, feed the needy. With that being said, listen, guys, we hopefully have a really good show for you. We're going to be asking a couple of questions, kind of pulling out some things about you and film, et cetera, et cetera. We might even get into Hollywood as well. So relax, get comfortable, and here we go. All righty. Miss Hemp, it's good to see you again. It's been a long time. Listen, you're more difficult to get a hold to than the First Lady, okay? I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I'm busy, and we have a 3-hour time difference. So sometimes you text me, and I'm like, it's 1 a.m. You do
it. Fair enough. My apologies. With that being said, let's get right into it. So, Miss Bree, what was it? Take me back to the beginning. When you were a little girl, you were wee size, and what was it that sparked that fire, that interest in film and theater for you? What was it?
Oh my gosh. So I was talking about this the other day with some of my coworkers because I work at a community theater now. Okay. And I started volunteering at a community theater when I was about 11. And I saw some of the plays and stuff there, and nothing, they were fun to go to, but nothing really interests me. And I was set on I was going to be a chemist until about 14. And then I saw Rent at the theater. I saw Rent live at the theater, and I was like, my whole life has to be different right now. This is what I'm going to do forever. And so far, it is what I've done. I haven't looked back. I can't imagine my life right now if I was a chemist. I don't think I'd be nearly as happy as I am or have the friends that I do. I wouldn't have met you guys for sure if I was doing chemistry.
Fair enough. Okay. When it comes to you wanting to be a chemist, that's new for me. I think I've known you for quite some time. That never came up. A chemist. Okay. Got you. Well, what was it about chemistry that made you want to get into chemistry?
Oh, I loved it. My grandfather was an inventor, and then he was a scientist. And when I, as a really small, I started saying I liked science, and I still do. I think science is absolutely fascinating and beautiful and really amazing to learn about. It's still a passion and an interest. But then he took me to the lab that he worked at, and I saw the beakers and everything. And I guess I'm easily swayed because at that moment I was like, I'm going to do this forever. Much like, so I don't know, maybe in 2 years I'm going to see something else. I'm like, everything has to change. This is my new thing.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay, it's a new thing for me. Awesome. So, as most people that know me and know you, they know that we got our start from the Project Deathless, which was a long and treacherous journey. And you accompanied me on that journey, till the end. We went Mordor, we threw the ring into the volcano, and we called it a day. We actually achieved our goal. So tell me a little bit about the first time, we met for Deathless. Well, tell me a little bit about that. What was going through your head, et cetera, et cetera.
I was so certain that I was not even going to be entertained to be in the show because I never acted in anything. I wanted my dismissal to be swift and painless. I was hoping, like, as soon as I started reading, you would just be like, thanks, it's okay, go ahead. You're good, go head out. And that wasn't what happened. So, and then after I read with you, you didn't call me for a long time. It was like 3 weeks. So I was certain, I was like, that just didn't happen, because people are shocked, but that's the way of the business. If you get cast is when you hear from somebody, but if you don't hear from them. And people are really shocked to find that out, that aren't in acting or in theater or in film. They think everybody gets some kind of courtesy call. And so I was like, oh, I didn't do it. But it was okay. And then when you called me, it was, even when we were in the same time zone, you called me pretty late at night. I feel like it was like 10:30 that you called me, and I was in a rehearsal for a theater show, and I got the role. So I was like, is this a joke? I thought it was like a prank call. I didn't know your number. I didn't know who was calling me. And you said something, I think, like really weird, because you didn't say, I'm from Deathless and I have chosen you. You said something like, hi, this is Thomas. We want you. And I was like, what? Who?
Yeah.
Who gave you the number?
Interesting.
But
interesting.
I'm glad you called and said we want you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was a very, very interesting time, because we had haven't just gotten off of. Before then, we were actually in the first iteration of the project, and again, we taxied the runway, and we just never achieved liftoff. We never got off the ground. And this time around, when we had casted you and a couple other individuals, I was so sure that this was going to be it. And the interesting thing about it, when we casted you, we were looking through the review tapes and things like that, and we're looking at all the people that came and auditioned. And in my mind, the way I always pictured Chloe, you had some of those attributes. So when I said that, I said, yo, I was talking to a couple of people with me, Chris, Hootie. Were you there, Sue?
No.
They were there for that? Okay, for that iteration, okay. So we were having a conversation, but we're watching on Rashad's TV actually at the time. And I was like, I like her. I think she can fit the project very well. And, I can't remember who else I know there was a couple, I think there was 2 other people that came out for the role. And the vibe wasn't there. I wasn't getting that Chloe feeling from them. So when I finally called you back, because I had a little bit of a discussion, because there was a young lady that was Chloe before you prior. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. And I know that she still wanted to participate, but because of the situation, I think I think she wasn't as close as she used to be. So I think that was one of the things that was going on with that. And I had to make sure, because I don't like to, do people in certain ways. I mean, I always want to be as professional and courteous as possible. So there were people telling me that she may still be interested. I'm like, how is she still interested? I heard she's moving, so we can't utilize her. And I had always said that I liked your performance. So long story short, you're right. I did give you a call, say that I wanted you to be a part of the show. And
I want you. We want you.
If I was that poetic, I apologize.
I was like, should I walk home tonight or get a cab? Like,
yes, indeed. So, yeah, absolutely. Sue, tag in. What are some of the things that you want to bring to the table as well?
What drew you to the character, to go out for the character Chloe?
I actually didn't know almost anything about the character mm-hmm. Chloe or the script. I had another friend that auditioned or was supposed to audition the same day I did. And she was just like, you need to go with me. So I went more as support for somebody else that was auditioning who didn't want to go by themselves. And then I think I'm a little fuzzy on the timeline because it was so long ago, but I think I was scheduled to go audition the same day she was. And I panicked and I called her, and then I called Thomas and said, I can't do it. I don't know if I can be in the show. And then, I texted Thomas, and then Thomas called me and said, like, please just show up. That's all, it's not going to be scary. If you don't get it, you don't get it, but just show up. There's no reason to panic before you even audition. So I did go audition, but I didn't know anything about the character. I was going to support somebody that was auditioning for a different character. So I think she's...
Who was that? Was that Angela?
Probably.
Angela?
Okay. She was auditioning to be
Lilith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Go ahead, Sue.
Don't put me on the spot like that now, Thomas. Go ahead, come back.
He does that, doesn't he?
Well,
We
yes.
have so many presentations where he's like, Bree, take it away. And I'm like,
Like,
okay.
wait a minute, give me a second.
Take it away.
No problem. Well, that's very
Where's the
interesting.
PowerPoint?
Well, here's the thing. Like that whole situation, because that's back when we had the original OG cast. Well, not the original G's. The second iteration. And we had Killer Cam, we had Angela, we had Bree, we had what's her name?
Joanna,
yes. We had I always forget Joanna's name. We had Joanna because she was Chloe. I'm not Chloe, sorry, Gabby. It was Gabby. And what's the young lady's name? Because we had Jason Simmons as Professor Blake. So his daughter was also playing account as well as makeup artist, if I remember correctly.
yes.
That was a very interesting situation because I still want to use Jason, but things didn't go the way I would like them to go. And I would have loved to continue to use their daughter as well because she was very talented. She worked on Chris's Project Breathe as far as the makeup. She was very talented in that and whatnot. But I remember the first photo because it was our first time me and Bree ever interacted. It was our first time interacting. I remember the first photo.
When you held her like she was pregnant?
Yes, I said this.
He's got his hands like this, like on my stomach.
I was like, yo.
Like he's like making a heart on my stomach.
Yo, I didn't know. I was like, yo, I looked at that picture and I was like, yo, this is the goofiest shit I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah. I try to put that in a box and put it in the ocean. With that being said,
that was just us not knowing each other, and everybody was still
the chemistry wasn't there. Yeah, the chemistry
Mm-hmm.
was not there like originally. And the interesting thing about it was I was nervous as well because I never dealt with any of these individuals. So, I've done multiple prior things with, other women and other men, blah, blah, blah. But the thing about it was, this was my project. So now I felt a little bit more responsibility for what I had going on. And it was in my house, and this was in my house. I was living with Rashad at the time. And we had that wrinkly black backdrop.
It was a sheet. It was a bed sheet.
Yeah.
We pulled it off your bed.
The lighting was absolutely garbage. And, we did the best we could. And then Suzette went in and she used her skills, in Photoshop, and she started coloring people's eyes, right? So it came out and I said, well, at least the eyes look good. at least the eyes look decent, you know what I'm saying? So, and then ever since then, we started, rehearsing and doing things together. And I'll never forget, there was a time Bree was supposed, I don't know if it was a rehearsal, Bree, remind me, was it a rehearsal or was it an actual shoot? And you were working, you were going to be, I don't think you were going to make it or you were going to be late. It was at nighttime. You were working at a restaurant.
I was going to be there. I was just going to be like an hour late because I got called into waitress at Welcome to Chili's.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yep. Mm-hmm. And we came in, I know we came and visited one of those nights, but yeah, I know there was a little bit of an issue because there was a situation to where one of the individuals on the team wanted to replace her. And I was like, no, I'm not replacing her. I'm not getting rid of her. I appreciate her even taking the time to come to the, be a part of the show. Again, one of the most important things that anybody can give you is their time. And I say that thousands upon thousands of times. Okay. And the fact that she was willing to do that, even that late at night, meant a whole lot to me. So we waited for her. So she was, like she said, an hour late. We waited for her to come to the College of Law. And we went to the little room and she came in. And was that your blue dress or was that somebody else's blue dress that you were wearing that day?
Oh, that was mine.
That was your blue dress. The one that, whatever happened to that dress?
It's actually a mystery. I think about that dress a lot. I don't know where it went. But I loved it. It's like my favorite thing. I look for it all the time. Have you seen the prop show on Disney Plus about their movie props?
Mm-mm. I don't think I have Disney Plus.
How are you watching Gargoyles, Thomas?
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not.
But there's this great show, and every episode is the props and like how they were made and where they went for all of the different movies. And one of them is Mary Poppins, and nobody knows where her bird umbrella went to. And I was like, I know where that is. That is in Julie Andrews' closet, and she's not saying a word. Like, what do you mean we don't know where it is? But yeah, some of the stuff that was on that show, I can't find, and a lot of them were my own clothes. So I'm wondering if people like were like, this might be something. I'm going to take her sweater. Somebody's got my dress somewhere.
I still have somebody's wig in my car.
Not my wig. I did not have a wig.
Wait, yeah. We didn't have a wig.
No, but somebody had a wig. That wasn't it. The old ISIS that had the wig.
Oh, you're right, Devin.
It's in my
money now.
car. So
Devin had that. That was a very.
Be in there too.
That was a very interesting situation. First, let me give a shout out to My Toe. Thank you for coming on, checking us out again, My Toe. I appreciate the support, my man. Keep sending me your energy for that spirit bomb, brother, because I'm here. Okay. With that being said, the Devin situation was a very interesting situation. Let's talk about it.
I don't think we should. It's just really into somebody's personal life.
No. I'm not going to go that deep. What I'm going to say, and I'm going to keep it YouTube friendly. What I'm going to say is, I thought that she was brilliant for the part. She was a very good actress. It was just so unfortunate that we lost her, because I thought she was able to bring something to the character that I hadn't seen prior. And it was unfortunate that we lost her, but we did lose her due to some personal situations that she was going through, and it's respected. But again, I just want to make it known that, we did miss her. We did miss her in the part and so forth. So I did appreciate the time that she did bring to it when she did, because that night when we were shooting Bree's scene originally, and she was there and she had the wig on, and that scene turned into a ghost hunting brigade.
That was the scariest night of my life.
Yes, indeed. So
your fault, Tom. It's your fault.
Well, and then it wasn't so can I tell kind of the story
Absolutely.
of that?
Go ahead.
So Thomas rents this theater out, and it's completely empty other than I think the four of us, the two in the scene, and then I think the two of you that were shooting and directing the scene. This entire theater that's old, and like kind of their bit is it's kind of creepy, so it's decorated with like fake rats and all sorts of stuff like that, so it's already very creepy. And Thomas, just to I think set the tone, is telling us like scary stories about like ghost children and stuff like that. And then, as though it's staged, some stranger is banging loud on the door and wants in and wants to talk to us and wants to come hang out, and we're like, no, sorry, you cannot come in here. And so it was just a creepy setting, and Thomas set a creepy tone, and then we had some weird circumstances, and then we did hear a lot of weird sounds coming from upstairs that we still can't really explain, like who was up there talking and what was happening. So that's why
I say it's Thomas's fault. He always getting us in some creepy stuff around here. When you hang with him, Thomas got us some stuff.
It's funny to me. I have a stronger memory of like filming the show and what happened to film certain scenes than I do of the scene. So like once we made the show and I was watching it, some of it I was like, that's what happened? Like, because in that, that 10-hour day, the actual filming was like 20 minutes of it. So that didn't stand out the way that everything else we did that day stood out.
Absolutely. One of the interesting things that I tried to do, and I learned this from my mentor, Brahim, the Prophet, actually, and he has his own production company as well. I actually was, quote unquote, mentoring Chip under him when he was shooting a documentary for Barack Obama back in 2008. And he was teaching me some of the ways of filmmaking and things like that and so forth. And one of the things he told me, he said, one of the best things you can do when you're trying to build camaraderie amongst your actors and actresses is to take them out. Go hang out with them, get to know them, let them get comfortable with you and things like that. And I took that to heart. So I would call Bree up and say, yo, Bree, let's hang out. And I would call over Cam or even Patsy and, Suzette, Sonia, and we would all go out and kind of have a good time. Whether it was Applebee's a couple of times, we came and saw her at Chili's, and I remember one night I think we went on a Walmart escapade. With Hootie. So and I did those things to build camaraderie and more of a connection between us, so when we get on camera, it won't be awkward. And I think it did work. To an extent. I think we had some situations when it came to the filming of Desolate. Let's move on to that aspect of it. Well, before I move on to that, is there anything you want to add to that about the camaraderie? What were your thoughts about me asking to hang out with you, Briann, and so forth, to build camaraderie when it came to the show, before I move on to the next part?
I think that's kind of a double-edged sword, because I think it did help with like our chemistry in a scene. Mm-hmm. And that was great. And it made things easier because there was a lot of like very intense scenes or, just intense days, even just on a set. Mm-hmm. But I think there was this double-edged sword because nobody had just one set job, because this was like just a team effort in every way. Mm-hmm. So on a day that I wasn't acting, I was doing costumes or was holding lights or something like that. Yeah. And because you were the actor and the friend, but also the director and the writer, yeah. I think sometimes we blend too far, boss and then friend. Yeah. So I think we needed to have I think sometimes there were times that I was like, he's got to drop this hammer. But it was like, but he's got to drop it on his buddy. Yeah. He won't do it.
Fair enough. And that's true. And she's correct about that. It can become a double-edged sword because we'll get to that part when it came to the making of Deathless. But it is very difficult to manage your friends because you don't want to upset anybody. You don't want to, get on anybody's bad side. And Lord knows I wasn't trying to get on Bree's or anybody else's bad side. So it was very, very interesting and difficult to manage that, because which is why I even told Matthew, I said, bro, I just want to act. Let me just stay behind the camera. in front of the camera, because if I start managing behind the camera, it can get a little bit interesting. So, so I agree with that. It is a double-edged sword. Let's move to the first iteration of Deathless before we get to the primary one, where me and you were working together, and we had Jason and so forth. And we had we shot originally. I think we shot that scene, or one of the scenes, because we were walking down the streets. It was a really nice neighborhood. It was deer frolicking. It was a beautiful sunny day, and we were filming out there the first time. What were your first thoughts? Because you said this was your first project you've ever done, correct?
Right.
What were your thoughts about being on set on your first project? Even though Dustin was low budget, but was your first project. What were some of your thoughts of working with us on your first project? Let's jump into the head of Bree. What was going through your mind?
I mean, I was nervous because I felt way in over my head, because it seemed like, because I wasn't just in it, I was a pretty big part in it. So it was weird to be like, how I suddenly have all this responsibility that I don't feel like I earned, because especially I was in a theater program where people were, losing their minds to get just a role where they walk across the screen and everything. So when it felt like imposter syndrome, I was like, I don't deserve this. I didn't earn this. I don't, I haven't done this before. Why, I was waiting for to be revealed to everybody. I was waiting for someone to be like, why does she not know what that term is? How is she not doing this right? So it was scary. It was really, really scary because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't think I was supposed to be there. I think it was crazy when we had some other actors come on and you could tell when they walked in, they were like, I am here. I know what I'm doing. And not in an arrogant way. It was just, I have experience. I can do this. I know what I'm doing. And I didn't have that. But I think some of that worked only because that's part of how Chloe was. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of Chloe's like, I don't know, is me sitting there going, I hope this works. I hope the scene works.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, and I hope that, when we were working together, I was able to make you more comfortable.
Yeah.
When you finally got on set and things like that and so forth. Because I know a lot of people were nervous. I was actually nervous as well because of the fact that, again, this is my baby, this is my project, and I don't want to let anybody down. So I was actually nervous as well. And me and you had a whole lot of parts and things like that and so forth. So a lot of the weight of the show, was up to us. So we were kind of balancing it ourselves in a lot of these scenes and projects. So when we were shooting this in the first iteration, the first time around and so forth, and we did not complete it. I think we did a good job. We actually got a trailer. We had a trailer that got a whole lot of fucking views.
It was weird. And then I remember sitting in IHOP with you at like 3:00 in the morning, and someone, we won't name, accused us of buying the views.
Yes.
But we only had like 13,000 views, and we were like, well, you can't buy that few, but if we were gonna buy the views, there'd be 3 million on there.
Oh yes,
we would not have 13,000 views.
Exactly. That's why I was baffled by that, because I was kind of like, first of all, I didn't even know you could buy views. I thought it was illegal somehow on YouTube. Like, I was like, people can do that, then they could just basically annihilate the algorithm. But then, like you said, I'm not going to buy 13,000 views. I'm trying to get paid. Okay, like you said, 3 million. And hey, shout out to D. Anthony, man. D. Anthony made that trailer happen. I really appreciate that. And I remember taking that trailer, and we had I went to a pizza parlor, and that's where I met Matthew and Alec, actually. And I remember they were showing there was like a filmmakers meet, right? Even Tatiana was the one, telling me to go and do this, and I was always putting it off. I would leave her on red. It was fucked up, but I was like, I'm not going. So, because after the second try and it didn't work, I was kind of like, down about it, and I was like, maybe this isn't for me. I took the script and I put it on the shelf, and I'm at work, focusing on everything but film. Now, that started to pick up again because I think Bree, and Suzette were hanging out around this time. There was this creepy house right down the street from my neighborhood. And it was... Oh,
no.
I called the owner and said, yo, can we film it? This is like amazing. So we went in, and it was like some of the creepiest shit we've ever seen. Like, there was like a bloody dress in the closet, like old photos and like books in different languages. It was weird as hell. And we made a little bootleg, quote unquote, horror short out of it. And I remember I was helping you up what was it, an apple tree? What kind of tree was that, Bree? Some type of fruit.
Yeah. I think it was an apple tree, but it was like perfectly from like a horror movie, because we're like, wow, what a beautiful apple, and you picked me up and I grabbed it and it like dissolved in my hand into like bugs and mush, and I was like, we have to go. We gotta get out of here.
Yes, indeed. And what was that book we saw? There was a book there as well that was very, very weird, because it was in a different language that we didn't understand. I don't remember. We were trying to decipher it in our goofy way. It was really weird. And we came back at night, I think with Sonia. And we backed in and we went in, because Sonia is all about the paranormal. So we walked in, it's dark as shit. We had our cell phone lights on and we're looking through it and so forth. And we just started getting the creeps. Whatever it was, something made us bolt. And we took off back towards the car. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we bolted because it was just fucking creepy. Could have been squatters, could have been anything. It was fucking creepy. So we bolted. Right. So, so that was I don't even think we were filming that. We weren't even filming Deathless. We were just playing around, I think, at that time, just with film and things like that. But when we finally, because one of the things I do appreciate Bree a whole lot for, and she knows I tell her all the time, is she was there since day one. And even how long was the gap in between the first iteration and the second iteration and the third?
Gosh. So you cast me the first time my freshman year.
Okay.
And then you told me about Matt in the second iteration my senior year. So I guess it was 3 years.
Jeez. So yeah, we just kept in contact from there. It's a beautiful thing about film. You make friends and things like that, lasting relationships and so forth. So after that, once I got with Matthew and we sat down and we started saying we're going to do it this way, and Matthew came in like a army general. We're going to do it like this. We need to do this. We're going to get a drone, and I'm going to put my project to the side, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to get a whole team, and so I was like, oh, okay, absolutely, sure, salute, let's do it. So we went in, and I got Bree, Patsy, a lot of the old gang back, which I was happy. Couldn't get everybody back, but I got a lot of the old gang back, and when I did get a lot of the old gang back, when we started putting that together, it got a little interesting. And the thing about it is that it was a more serious environment for sure. And we had to be in our P's and Q's. Now, one of the things I want to talk to Bria about is also like, how did you feel on the third iteration of the set? Because you weren't just acting, you were also managing to a certain extent on set. And I understand that there were certain times where things get a little frustrating. Could you kind of walk us through some of that?
Yeah, I mean, it was stressful, I guess, because, sometimes you want to have your moment and you're reading your script and you're trying to get into it and you're trying to get there. But then you'd have to go fix this. You got to do this. You got to go be here. And suddenly I'd be doing somebody's makeup, sewing a costume, and they were like, you have 2 minutes before you need to be on set. And I'm like, what? How do I can't work like this. So, but I think it was fun. And I think it was like a very valuable learning experience because everything from there has been so much easier, and I don't mean that in a mean way because I've been I've been on a set where I had 18 different jobs on the same day. This is nothing, oh, you just need me to do the makeup? Easy. So I think, I don't regret it. I'm not complaining that it happened. I think it was awesome and fun, and I am easily bored. So I think I do, as much as I would have liked, my time to get into character and everything, I think at least my personality, I would have probably started wandering away and then getting bored and doing something else, and people would have had to be like, where's Bree anyways?
Interesting. Myto, I think Myto said, that sounds like fun. Remind me of this abandoned hospital in Tallahassee, Sunnyland. Yeah, didn't they knock Sunnyland down?
I think so. I think it's apartments now.
Yeah.
But it was
asbestos in the roofing.
Well, and it was like such a big thing to break in there that was getting really, really dangerous because so many people were busting out the windows and going into this building that's been abandoned for a long time. Like eventually, like an entire floor was going to fall on a person. So
yeah,
you have to.
Okay. Let's get into more spicy territory here when it came to So when it comes to the production and more spicy aspects of it, there were times where people were crying on sets. I'm just going to keep it, don't get raw, because people see this finished project and they don't realize the literal blood, sweat, and tears that went into making this project. And there were times, honestly, that I was like, there was so much chaos going on. People were upset. People were tired. People, were frustrated. And when people thought about Dessus, they thought about me. So I took a lot of that to heart. And I wasn't sure how to alleviate or fix the problem. I mean, there were times when I had, people mad at me. Even Bree has been pissed off at me on set. And, again, as close as we are, having her pissed off at me on set was like, oh God, what are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? Bree's upset, or Patsy's trying to cuss me out in some capacity. I'm like, oh God, here we go. And it was tough. It was tough having to deal with that dynamic. But I do believe that it did build on our relationships, and I think it was kind of for the best, because now we have a better understanding of who we all are, and we know how to deal with each other when we work together in the future. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, but I think that is because I did. I had a lot of days on set that I was crying or frustrated, or was like, I might leave or I'm done. But I think it should prove to you how much people did believe in your project and everything, because I didn't. I never did quit or leave a set, or because as much as sometimes I would be frustrated or tired or anything, it still meant a lot for me to be there. Because like, did I ever tell you what my schedule was during that show?
No.
So we did every weekend. We would do like Friday to Sunday. Well, I was in class Monday to Friday. And so sometimes we'd film all day till midnight or later.
Yeah.
Midnight to 3 is when I did DoorDash. I go home, shower, eat something, 4:30 to 8:30 in the morning. I was online teaching English to kids in China. And then I'd be back on set by 9, which is, I guess is my excuse for why I was so testy. But I was willing to do that for you and for your project. So I think how frustrated people were but stayed should prove to you how much we loved you, how much we believed in the show. So if as many times as I was crying or angry or something, I didn't leave. So I hope you take that as a compliment more than
No, actually, absolutely, I do appreciate that. And let's don't get it twisted. I got frustrated myself.
I know.
I really, and she could always tell when I was upset. She always knew. And
because suddenly Thomas would be quiet, and that's a rare thing. If suddenly Thomas isn't talking and isn't the center and isn't the life of the party, you're like, uh-oh, we're all in trouble, aren't we?
Yeah, I had to go to Thomas time to be like, you good? What's wrong with you? Who done pissed you off? And then he'll just vent. I'm just like, let me go back and mind my business. Y'all getting serious out here.
Yeah, listen, and I tried my best. I tried my best to kind of remain as collected as possible. But there were times where I got upset. One of them, for instance, we were shooting at really cool. I wish I knew the name of the hotel we shot at, because I love to give them a shout out. But we were filming at this hotel, and there was an argument, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I believe you were there. It was an argument between maybe Matthew and Patsy, and I got so frustrated and I yelled. And one of our actresses got intimidated. The big black guy started hollering and screaming. She got intimidated. She was scared. She was upset, and I heard through the grapevine that this person was upset. And I was like, hey, what? It wasn't even directed at her. So I had to come and apologize. Hey, I apologize. I didn't mean to, upset you, make you afraid, et cetera, et cetera. But that was one point where I popped off. I popped off with Matt too. I was like, Matt, you ain't gonna fucking talk to me like that on my set. It happened. So I'm not gonna sit back and say that everybody else was upset and I never got upset. No, I got upset too. There was times where I was frustrated and how things were going and things like that. But again, it goes to show that even through frustration and animosity, people were willing to stay and let's get it done. Regardless if we were shooting into the wee nights, getting bit by mosquitoes, some people got a long drive home, anywhere from an hour and a half to get back home. These people did that for me. And
some people came from like 3 hours. Our Jacksonville people drove like 3 hours both ways, so
Absolutely.
They would do a 6-hour drive for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's something that I don't feel like I'll ever be able to pay with, just that time. And again, that meant a whole lot to me. And I tell you that to these guys that all the time. And once it was all said and done, I remember did we ever release those interviews? Did we release those interviews that we did? It was the final day. I think, was that the same day we shot the intro?
I think the interviews were when we took the photos at the College of Law. Oh,
you might be right. What about them? Yeah, that was the same time we took the photos. We did the intro for the Alignment Entertainment Company, and we did the little interviews upstairs. And and when I don't know if we ever released those. I gotta check and see if we ever released those, because I would like to see those. I don't remember seeing them. And that day, I remember. I don't know that I thought I think that was the same day. Didn't we go to the park and film the intro?
Yes, later that night.
Later that night.
Like 1 a.m. Yeah,
people were upset with me. Patsy was pissed off at me like usual. I said, at this point, I've gotten used to her being upset with me. But I do appreciate her for, continuing and trekking through the mud for me. Go ahead, Britt.
See, Patsy and I had fun that day because we had like a 2-hour break between doing photos and whatnot at the College of Law before we had to be at the park because it had to be dark. Mm-hmm. So I took a DoorDash shift and Patsy rode with me and she picked up food for herself at the first place that I had to pick up food for. So Patsy's riding around Tallahassee with me, eating her pizza. And in my county that I grew up in and went to high school in, it's not required to parallel park for your driver's license. So at every place in Tallahassee that I had to drop off food, I had to get out of the car. Patsy would get in and parallel park the car for me. So we had a good day that day.
I just know when we got to shooting it, she was upset about something. I don't remember what it was. I wouldn't be surprised if it had to do with me. Knowing that usually she's pissed off at me, but whatever. But I know she was upset that night. But I don't remember what it was for. But we got it done. She did participate. We got it done. Got the intro done, et cetera, and we completed it. After it was all said and done, Bree, walk us through the thoughts that was going through your head when you finally saw yourself on Amazon Prime. And tell me about how some of your constituents, friends, and families thought about seeing you on Amazon Prime.
My family is all absolutely furious. They cannot believe we left him on a cliffhanger. And then they're calling me and they're like, well, you got to tell me what happens. I was like, script's not written yet. I can't tell you what happened. They're like, you have to tell me. I'm not. And I was like, I'm not lying. The script doesn't exist yet. I'm also on a cliffhanger. I don't know what happened. But it was really cool because it wasn't just a project. It had been something I had been telling people about and swearing by for years. So I was like, see, I wasn't lying. I told you I was in a show. Because at that point, what was I, 24 when it came out? And I got cast at 18. So it was 6 years that I was telling people that I was like, I promise I am a lead in a TV show.
It's very interesting because one of the things I used to have conversations with Brie, because I would call her and say, hey, Brie, have you had a chance to watch it yet? What do you think? Tell me what you think. And she's like, I don't want to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I don't want to see myself.
No, part of the problem was because I am very hypercritical of myself. I didn't want to stunt the process of making the show. So I do think if I had a say in the editing process, the show still wouldn't be out because I think I would have been like, my ear looks too big in that shot. We got to cut it. Like I look wrong. I said that wrong. Find another take. That was truly so that the show could exist. Because even when I watched the show and it was finished and I couldn't fix anything, I still watched it like, oh, why did I say it like that? Why did I who let me wear that dress type of thing? So I think if I watched it, we might have even got to a point where I was like, Thomas, let's just reshoot that one scene. I can fix it. I can do it better. And we didn't have that kind of time or the resources. So it was not to be lazy or to not help. It was to make sure that it eventually existed.
Fair enough. I understand. And I get it. A lot of people, individuals like a Johnny Depp thing, don't watch their own projects because, again, they're very hypercritical of themselves. And, they don't want to do that. One of the things I think the issues with Edward Norton, it was very difficult to work with him from my understanding. Allegedly, he was very, very, very controlling when it came to producing and editing his projects because he wanted to have a hand in every little thing. So a lot of, a lot of people weren't too thrilled about that. So I get it. I definitely get it. But what did your friends and family have to say about seeing you, particularly on Amazon Prime, not YouTube, on Amazon?
They were shocked. They really were. Because a lot of them, I told them it was coming out, but a lot of them I didn't show them on Prime. Or tell them it was going to be on Prime. So when I was sitting with my parents and my sister and I start logging into the Prime, like I could see them like, she's logging into Prime. What is she doing? Because I hadn't told them it wasn't going to be a YouTube thing. I wanted that to be exciting for them. So like before it even starts playing, they're already like getting tense. They're getting shocked by what's happening. So then when I was like, that's my face, that's me right there. They just couldn't believe it. So it was really cool. And even though I'm hypercritical of myself, I am really proud of that project. I don't look at it like nobody should watch it. I do look at it like, I did that. We did that. That was cool.
No, seriously. Like when I look at it and things like that and I see it, again, I don't know if you were there, Bree. We were at the College of Law and we were looking at the trailer for the first time, and I got kind of emotional about it because I'm like, this is it. You know, after all this hard work, it looks fantastic. I'm excited, et cetera, et cetera. And when I watched it, because I would always get preview, of course, to the episodes before they got finalized, et cetera, et cetera. And I would say to him, I said, yo, I thought, Bree, you did an excellent job. You killed that. You killed that scene. You did a great job. It was fantastic. And I would tell you that when I would actually kind of get your feedback. I said, no, you were great. You were great, et cetera, et cetera. So after the wrap up of season 1, your parents were excited and your friends were excited about season 2 and things like that. And that is actually actively being worked on. We're going to be actually interviewing the young lady who has been working with me on season 2 for quite some time now. We've done a couple projects together since we've been out here. One of them was a horror project called Antipode that might be going to some film festivals out here, which will be pretty dope. And we're going to be doing some short films together. Me and Bree actually did a short film together that I really enjoyed called Devil. She did a very, very good job in that as well, along with Patsy, et cetera, et cetera. Carly actually helped edit that together. That was really good. I think that was a really good thing, short film that we did. Go ahead, Bree, you want to say something?
No, I just miss Carly. That was the first time I met her, was the night that we filmed
really
Devil in downtown Tallahassee, like her and her aunt.
Yeah, her aunt is amazing. Oh man, Maxine was having a party, and her aunt came with us because it was I don't think it was considered a lingerie party. It was
I was not at that.
No,
I wasn't there.
No, you weren't there. No,
I don't recall this.
I thought I invited you.
When was it? Like for
Valentine's thing. It was Maxine's thing. And Patsy and them came, and his Carly's mom came. I mean, aunt came. She was hilarious the entire time. And we were having a good time. And there was another one we did with Matthew for Matthew's birthday, surprise birthday party. Were you there at Matthew's surprise birthday party?
Yes, okay. I was there for that one.
That was actually hilarious because of the fact that Matthew got upset with me and other individuals because Matthew Matthews has metamorphosed a whole lot, but before when I first met him, because he was not a social butterfly whatsoever. He was so nervous that everybody was there for him that he didn't know how to express himself. So he actually got really upset with me, and then ended up sending me this amazing apology afterwards, the day after, and things like that. Talking about, he apologized acting the way he did. I said, no, bro, it's all good. I get it. I understand social anxiety. I get it, et cetera, et cetera. So, because he was there trying to talk about work. I'm like, no work. It's alcohol and chill. So after that, again, everything was completed and so forth, and we all kind of went our separate ways. And again, the premiere came out last December, as we already know. It's almost a whole year since. I feel like we just premiered it, but it's almost a whole year since we premiered it last December. It's almost a whole year. So moving into the aspect of season 2, Suzette, did I let you read the tentative script on that?
No, you done left me out. That hurts my feelings.
I was about to be upset if you said yes. Where's my PDF?
I thought. Wait. Bree, I didn't send it to you.
Nope.
Oh shit! Oh man.
Go ahead after this is done. Send it.
I thought.
We'll pause right now. I got a drink.
I get my water. It's no big deal.
It's a very, again, when you read it, it is. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. It's a synopsis, a 20-page synopsis on the direction of season 2. And I enjoy the overall direction. I remember when Miss McBride, she gave it to me and she was like, yo, this is what I got. after everything we talked about, we would sit back and she watched Deathless. We went over the script constantly. She got to know the characters, et cetera, et cetera. So she's pretty, integrated into the story itself. So she put together, there's a couple of things that I'm going to change within the 20-page synopsis. But overall, that's the direction I want to go. And it's good. It's interesting. It's fun. I think it'll be a good season 2. And I thought I sent it to Bree because I maybe she wasn't me, because I think Patsy got it. So I thought you had got it. So so yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get that to you. Bree, because I thought you had got it. I apologize. Probably why
Suzette wants it too.
Yeah, Suzette as well. Absolutely, Suzette as well. Make sure you get that as well. So
I need something to go to sleep too, right before I go to bed.
Well, do yeah. Actually, I definitely want your opinion, Suzette. I definitely want your opinion. And as we move from that, make sure I get that to you. As we move from that, guys, let's transition into.
I got a question though.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Bree, who is your favorite character and your worst and your least liked character on the show? Gotta ask everybody this. Gotta know.
My least liked character is Chloe. I can't stand her.
Join the club.
Join the club. She's terrible. She's not very nice to her friends. She's so mean to her friends that are actually there for her. And then they give her a second chance and she blows them off again.
Kicked out of the friend group a long time ago.
Just to go off with the person that she doesn't like. Absolutely.
I kept telling Thomas, Chloe's not a likable character.
No.
What about, who's your favorite character though?
Gosh. I guess I'm biased maybe because of the acting, but probably Count Century, just because he brought so much to that character that I was like, this is
Travis.
Awesome. I was like, this is next level. This guy, they need to call him for the next Underworld. Like, really?
Yes.
I just hope I can get him back to season 2. That's one of the things me and Megan were talking about. It was like, can we get him back? So I hope I can get him back to season 2.
I don't think we write it if we can.
On the trailer, he stole that trailer because everybody I showed, they were like, "Who's this pompous dude? He's amazing." That was what everybody wanted to see.
Yeah, it reminded me of some of those guys on Twilight with the frills, But yes,
no.
Before I move on, Suzette, is there anything that you want to add? I want to move on from Deathless before I give you the opportunity to. Okay, good. Moving on to Hollywood. Hollywood is going through some things lately, guys. And COVID being out actually might be the least of its problems, in my opinion. As we are aware, our girl ScarJo is trying to sue Disney because of the sales of Black Widow. I mean, I know it's a little bit more complicated than that. Allegedly, that the situation is that she didn't get her bonuses that her contract said she was due. Disney's retaliation to that is that you've already made your $20 million. How much more do you want? By putting you on Disney Plus, we gave you the opportunity to make even more money in Disney's opinion. ScarJo's like, no, I want my bonuses that I should have got if this movie grossed a certain amount of time and got them releasing on Disney Plus. I'm pretty sure that I would have got, we would have reached a level that was in my contract for me to get those bonuses that are owed to me. And I think some other people have also come out and are suing Disney in the same way. I think, what's her name from Cruella is actually doing the same thing. Brie, what are your thoughts on those situations?
Okay, so I haven't looked too much into the details of what they're suing about, but I have seen some of the comments that's like, Disney's too big. Why would you sue Disney? Or, she got her money, now you're just complaining. I don't think size should matter in this. If you felt like you've been wronged, and I haven't read the details, so I can't say that she has or she hasn't, but I do think if you've been wronged, I don't think it matters how big they are. I think you need to say something's been done wrong, especially if it's happening again and again. If Disney did do something wrong to Scarlett Johansson and Emma Stone, I don't think it matters. If it's absolutely certain that nobody can beat Disney in a court of law, I still think you need to prove the point that even if just in the court of public opinion, that something was done wrong. If you believe that, I don't think, and I'm not one to lie down and take very much, no matter who it is. So, and yes, I have kind of the feeling with a lot of celebrities of like, oh, you didn't get 25 million, you only got 20. But I guess, so when I'm like, God, do I have enough for gas today? Yeah. But I have to put that aside and go, if you were promised something and it didn't happen, I think you're owed it, whether it's more money than God or not.
Well, I mean, potentially it could be that Disney, and I know it's a late night show, I can't remember what the gentleman's name, maybe it's Jimmy Kimmel, was saying something along the lines of, we're going to continue to put out these type of movies, whether people like it or not, because we've got the money to do it. I think what's happening is that a lot of these films, especially, during this whole COVID situation, have not been getting back the money that they are putting into it. A lot of these films are losing money. Black Widow is in that boat. Mulan is in that boat. I think Shang-Chi was, I guess, one of their saving graces, but the bar was set so low for that it's kind of like, okay, it is what it is. I wonder if they're in trouble because people they're spending upwards of $200 to $300 million on these projects, and if you're not getting that back plus marketing, which is like an extra $200 million on top of that, and Disney's movies have been kicked out of China. I mean, even the Eternals that's coming out is not allowed in China.
Why? I hadn't heard that.
But you didn't? Oh yeah, they said they don't want Mulan. They're not allowing Shang-Chi. They are not also. Wait, did they allow Mulan? I don't know if they allowed Mulan. I might be correcting on that, but I know Shang-Chi's not allowed. And Eternal's not around. I know the Japanese said to keep the characters in Shang-Chi. Some Japanese message boards, I have to say, were saying some of the characters in Shang-Chi were ugly. They didn't find them attractive. So this was the I don't know why China, but China. The reason I brought that up because China's a huge market. That's $300 million that would go in Disney's pockets from China. When that's cut off, you know what I'm saying, they're left with us, and that's where a bulk of their money was coming from. And I wonder if China does not enjoy some of the, I guess, the politics that come that America has, because they have a different construct as far as the things that they're under, and I don't know it's just that, because you have movies that are coming out outside of Disney. I can't think The Quiet Place 2 did really well. One of the things,
Fast and Furious billion.
I was just going there for whatever reason. Even though I haven't seen any since the second one. After Tokyo Drift, I ain't seen none of them. Okay, and it boggles my mind how, Michael Bay style car explosions, going to the moon and back type of mindless entertainment drive so many people to the theater. So that's why people are saying you can't blame COVID. You can't blame COVID that your film is not doing as well as it used. Is it superhero fatigue, Disney? We don't know. Again, me personally, after Infinity War, I haven't been interested in seeing anything that they put out, quite honestly. But what are your thoughts, Bri?
See, I am just movied out in general for me, because I spent so long at the beginning of the pandemic where we were lockdown. Yeah. Netflix was all I did. So now that I'm like, I can leave the house, I'm gonna do it. I'm in Florida where COVID is still pretty scary. I went and visited my friends in Philadelphia, and they were like, we haven't had a problem in months. Like, they were going to concerts and everything, and life was great. And that's just not what's happening here. So I have not been to a movie theater in a year and a half. And I guess I almost don't miss it, just because it was like, it's fun to go to the movies, but how expensive it was for a movie that maybe I did or didn't want to see, it wasn't worth it to me. So the only movie that I am like, I'll be there front row, first day, I'm waiting on my Robert Pattinson Batman. I'll be there. I'll see it again and again and again. But so far, especially if I have the option to watch it at home, like if I'm going to watch Cruella soon and I can watch it at home, at least for me, it's not laziness right now. the risk isn't worth it to me, because I do enjoy seeing movies on the screen. Something like Star Wars or Avengers that I'm like, I think I have to see this on the screen for it to fit right, hasn't come out lately. I think I can enjoy Cruella in my home as much as I could, but I think Batman I gotta go see.
Interesting.
Big.
Before I get into the whole Robert Pattinson Batman, dear God, let me ask Suzette. Suzette, what movie did we go see? Because I know I've been to the movie. What movie did we go see?
With Bree and all of everybody?
No, I don't think Bree was there. Me and Bree saw was it Wonder Woman? We saw something.
You and I talked about Wonder Woman, but I don't think we saw Wonder Woman together.
We saw something. I don't remember what it was.
I'm not remembering.
I know we've seen. No, I know what it was. We went and saw The Witch.
Yeah, and it was
that was an amazing movie.
The Witch, yeah.
Yes.
Incredible.
We went and saw The Witch.
Oh, can I gotta tell you guys something funny. Is that the same director as Midsommar?
Yes.
It is?
He was a producer on it, I think. He was a producer or something, yeah.
But I at my theater, I run a book club for reading play scripts. Yeah. And we had a meeting earlier today, and I was talking to everybody, and next week we're gonna read Midsummer Night's Dream. And one of the ladies in the book club was like, oh, the theater in the next town over is gonna play Midsummer. Is that the same thing? I was like, no. It's not. I promise. I don't think it's your thing. Sorry.
Yes,
see it if you want to, but let me tell you that I warned you. It's not Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. Bottom the Donkey is not going to be in it.
Let me ask you a question, Brie, because I don't think Suzette did see this one because she's not a huge horror fan. But which one did you think was better, Hereditary or Midsommar?
I was there for Hereditary.
Oh, you were?
I saw that when we went to the house thing.
Oh, yes. Did
you see
Midsommar?
Y'all trying to kill me.
Got you. What did your thoughts, Brie? Which one did you think was better?
I actually haven't seen Midsommar either.
Oh.
It's only because I don't know what's in it that is like specific. I don't even want to look it up really, so don't ruin it. I've had 3 separate people that didn't know each other, but just knew me, that came to me separately and was like, I can't tell you why, but you should not watch that movie. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what's in it that, would be, bother me personally. Mm-hmm. So I'm almost curious. That almost like made me go, well, I'm going to watch it. But I trust my friends that love me. So I haven't seen that one. Hereditary, I wish I hadn't seen really. And I think that's a testament to how good of a horror movie it was. It made me that disturbed and upset and uncomfortable and scared. I wish I could take it out of my head.
You didn't see Hereditary either?
I did. I watched it with you.
We all went to see. We all went that, and then when I drove home, I swear I was seeing everything from that movie and that drop on the highway.
Thomas tries to stick his head out the window of the car.
Yeah, with lights on. I was like, "Dang you, Thomas!"
Yeah, it's Hereditary was really good. I actually like Hereditary better than Midsommar. But I will say this without ruining it, Brie. I don't think there's any. I've seen the movie a couple times. I don't think there's anything in it that you would find outrightly disturbing that you wouldn't be able to watch it. There is let's just say a sexual scene in there, but it's not anything that I think would be too much for you to handle. Other than that, it's one of the things about the director of that movie, what made that movie interesting to me is he's able to freak you out in broad daylight. Okay, this isn't darkness and ghosts and creepy shadows. He's able to disturb you in broad daylight.
The dress actually came up for auction. Mm-hmm. The flower dress, it came up for auction, and I wanted it. I knew there was no way I could bid up and win that dress. I think it went for like $17,000 or something like that. But I would, because my main thing is costumes. That's what I do more than anything. And I was like, this is magical. This is beautiful. I do have a question, Thomas. Did you see The Lighthouse?
I have, but Robert Pattinson and Will Dafoe. I have not, and I don't know why I haven't. It's probably because I don't know where I could watch it. Watch it at, because I don't think it's on Amazon or Netflix. So I have not seen it though. Is it good?
Yes. I don't know. Yes. Because it made me feel awful and terrible in the way that Hereditary did. But I think that probably means it did what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because I guess people think art should always be fun, and it's not. It's supposed to make you feel something. And it very, very successfully made me feel something, something awful.
Yeah. I would definitely encourage you. And even if we have to do like a thing where you're watching it, I call you and I'm playing it at the same time, we can watch it that way. Which we need to do with both of you guys with the OC, by the way. All right, we need to finish watching the OC.
I've heard about this show for God, how old am I now? I've heard about this show for 7 years. For 7 years, Thomas is going to watch the OC with me.
Yep.
Mine was about 10 years when I was 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. And we got pretty far. So we got pretty far. And you have to admit, it's a decent show.
I would punch that girl in real life. She's so annoying.
The reason I like the OC so much is because I was able to relate to it to such an extent, which is interesting. Oh, you related to California white boys. No, it wasn't because they were California white boys, okay? I honestly said they could have replaced Benjamin McKenzie that played Ryan Atwood, who's actually the lead in Gotham now, with a black character, and I think would have been even more interesting. With that being said, when it comes to other aspects of film, as you guys know, I'm a horror connoisseur. I love horror films, which is why I always try to get y'all to come watch and watch horror films with me and things like that. And I always usually got to drag Suzette because she is vehemently against them. I have to say, with the new movies that are coming out, I am not excited about anything. I saw Malignant. Suzette saw it. She enjoyed it. I do give it credit for its creativity. I'm pretty sure, Brie, you haven't seen it yet, have you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie. I wasn't really a fan, but has anybody seen? Well, not anybody. Brie, have you seen the trailer to the new Matrix?
I didn't know there was a new Matrix. Cards on the table. I deleted pretty much every bit of my social media a couple of months ago. And I'll never look back. I don't know if I'm ever going back to social media, but that does kind of mean I don't hear about a lot of stuff. So no, I didn't know that. Huh?
Do you still access YouTube?
Yes, I love YouTube.
Okay. Interesting. And really quickly, why get rid of all your social media? That's how why'd you get rid of everything? That's how people get a hold of you.
I guess I did.
You said you'll never look back. Wow, it must. Yeah. How does it feel to be out the Matrix?
It feels like free because I was getting like so sucked into living the life for like the social media because I realized every time I was spending time with family or out with my friends or something, I was like, I gotta get this picture, I gotta get this, I gotta get, I was hitting like almost a checklist every time I went out, and I wasn't like there. So I think some people can have a healthy relationship with social media. I just couldn't. Gotcha. I was on it all day. I was living for the likes. Staging the pictures that I was like, this is my fake life, perfect. and then you almost get depressed because you're like, oh, these people only like what I'm presenting, and that's not really true.
Yeah. And if it's any consolation, that's like 95% of people's lives are fabricated for the social media. Most of the people that do that, their lives are trash. Yeah. It is what it is. And
I had like a great life, but I was kind of missing it. When I would go out with my family, I was missing the dinner and the talks and the conversation because I was so trying to get the perfect angle on that pasta or, trying to make sure the lighting was perfect for my selfie that I missed my life. So now when I'm not worried about how am I going to get the Instagram photo, do I have something to post to Facebook tomorrow? I'm so much more present in what I'm actually enjoying.
Gotcha. Interesting. But yeah, what I want to, before I whip that down that direction, I want to ask you, what, and I don't think I've ever asked you this. What is your favorite movie, Brie?
Oh, God. Okay. Let me preface with, it doesn't have to be, it's not what I'm saying is the best movie ever made. It's I can watch 20 out of 20 times and not be bored and still enjoy and have a fun time with. It's Lost Boys from the 80s, the vampire movie. I can listen to that soundtrack. I can watch it a million times. I'm never bored. It's fun every time. And I just love it. I don't look at it as like this is the greatest movie ever made. And sometimes people confuse favorite movie with the greatest movie ever made. But
no, absolutely. I would say
love it.
a close second place for me is The Breakfast Club. I adore The Breakfast Club. I can watch that repeatedly over and over again and enjoy it every single time. It is, I love it. Again, I could relate to it to an extent, you know, and at the time when I was growing up watching, I had a crush on, what's her name? Jesus Christ, I feel ashamed of myself.
Molly Ringwald?
Yes. When I was a kid. And I saw a movie, Pretty Big Pink, all the other stuff like that. But I love the soundtrack of that film as well. Loved it. It's a shame that a lot of those guys that were in that movie, I thought would be bigger, you know, going up, and they didn't really, you know, pop off the way that I assumed they would after they were in that movie, which is a little bit of a shame. But Suzette, I know you mentioned last time I asked you that you mentioned a Disney movie. Is there any movie outside of Disney that you would say qualifies for your?
I personally, in my favorite top 2 movies are Goodfellas and Death Becomes Her. I don't know if you guys know what Death.
I don't know what that one is. Yeah.
Has Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, Bruce Willis.
Nice
little hilarious movie.
Sounds good.
I would suggest watching it, Tom. It's a good movie.
Okay. Let me ask both of you two this thing. I'll start with Brie. Who is your favorite actor or actress? Favorite. Love watching him on it's probably gonna be Robert Pattinson.
No, it's hands absolutely Robin Williams. There's not a movie. Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of actors, sometimes I think like they did a really good job, but this person also could have done a really good job. Almost every Robin part, I don't think anybody else could have done it. I can't picture another Mrs. Doubtfire. I can't picture another Genie. I can't, you know.
Yeah, Pan movie. The movie Hook with him. I love that movie with him.
Oh my gosh, can I give you a tiny segue about Hook? One of my favorite shows ever made is Last Airbender. Okay. And Dante Basco is Rufio, but he's also Zuko in Last Airbender. Really? And yes, and at the end of August, like a month ago, there was supposed to be this big like Comic-Con thing that Dante Basco was going to come to around here. And I was like, I'm going to meet Fire Lord Zuko. I'm going to meet Rufio. I cannot wait. Rufio. And then COVID went like crazy. And I was like, I'm never going to meet Fire Lord Zuko. So yes, I almost got to meet Rufio and it fell apart right in front of me.
What about you, Sue?
I think it's Meryl Streep. I've always enjoyed her, yeah.
No matter what she plays, you like her.
I like her. And now because of Death Becomes Her, she became my favorite one.
I think for me, it has to be, and it's tough, but I'm going to have to go with Leonardo DiCaprio. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is brilliant. There is no Wolf on Wall Street without Leonardo DiCaprio, in my opinion.
Has he been robbed of any Oscars in your opinion? Should he have more than one?
Yes, he should.
What should he have won for?
Did he? Let me make sure I remember correctly. Did he win one for the Revenant? Yes. Okay, I thought he should have got one for Wolf on Wall Street. I thought he was brilliant.
But was he better? Wasn't that the year Matthew McConaughey wins for Dallas Buyers Club?
You know what? I think it's true, and that's what he's my second. And I hate to say that because I want to throw Denzel Washington in there. But my thing with Denzel Washington, I was expressing this to my friend of mine, and I was telling him, I said, Denzel Washington is an amazing actor. But the thing about Denzel Washington, when you watch a Denzel Washington movie, you know that's Denzel Washington. There's only a couple of movies that I know that I thought that was the character outside of Denzel. Denzel plays a character very well, but he's still Denzel Washington. Denzel puts his own spin, which most actors do, their own spin on the character. See, unlike Matthew McConaughey, Johnny Depp does a very good job of that as well, becoming the character and not being Johnny Depp. Leonardo DiCaprio is able to do that very well. People that I don't do that well, in my opinion, Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise, but he's Tom Cruise. Brad Pitt, Brad Pitt. He's Brad Pitt. You don't go see, Troy and Brad Pitt. You go see Brad Pitt and Troy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those actors, man.
It just kills me that of all of Brad Pitt's movies, what you picked was Troy.
Oh, Troy, I love
Of
Troy.
everything that he made Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. I didn't like
everything you picked Troy.
I
love Troy, but
Benjamin Button was good. Benjamin Button I enjoyed. I enjoyed Fight Club. I enjoyed
Fight Club and Legends of the Fall. It's just funny to me that of everything in his filmography, the standout movie for Brad Pitt was Troy.
Yeah. Well, to me, I like that whole romance. But that's neither here nor there. But it just, Brad Pitt is Brad Pitt in all his movies. He just has that Brad Pitt swagger. I can say the same thing about my girl Angelina Jolie, who I adore. Okay, but every movie she's in my opinion, it's Angelina Jolie acting that character. And that's not to say that she can't act or these people can't act. They're great actors. It's just that certain actors in my opinion, transcend that barrier between playing that character and becoming that character, if that makes sense. Robert Pattinson is a great actor. Great actor. Even though he was shovel-faced in Twilight, but he's a great actor. I saw Bree's face.
I'm confused. What does that mean?
It means his face was one. He had one face.
Yeah, it was.
He never really.
Well, same thing.
I thought you meant it looked like he got hit with a shovel.
No,
It was awful.
He had that one face. Like Kristen Stewart had that one face.
Kristen Stewart, yes. Kristen Stewart, dear God. Kristen Stewart, okay? In Twilight, it was, and this is no shade at Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart, do your thing. But damn it, Twilight, like every single fucking scene, she looked exactly the same. When she was upset, terrified, happy, she had the same look on her face.
But everybody blames them. And now, she's going to be Princess Diana. And I from the trailer, it looks pretty good. And Robert Pattinson's makes some good stuff. So for both of them to blow it, like they did, I don't think we can blame the actors. We got to look at direction, I think, here. I do. I mean it. because clearly, and this is early in their career, but he had already made Harry Potter and he was great in Harry Potter. So for someone to be good before and great after, but for this series of movies mess up, I think we have to look outside of Robert Pattinson. I think it's possible he was doing more and everything, and the director was like, "That's not what I want. Give me one face."
With Kristen Stewart, when she did Snow White and the Huntsman, she had that same facial expression.
I don't like really any of her movies. I'm sorry, I don't.
But the one before that, when she was in Zathura, I don't think that was the case.
I never watched it. I never seen it.
Even when she was in
Space Jumanji?
I didn't like her in Jumanji either.
Jumanji.
No, she says Zathura was like Space Jumanji.
Oh, okay.
Like
I didn't like her in Charlie's Angels. I didn't like her in.
I think she did pretty well in Charlie's Angels. She had more of a different expression in that one. She's not my favorite actress, but I think Charlie's Angel did come out a little bit better.
Can we have a moment of silence for my? I just knew he was going to be a phenomenal actor. I was a huge fan of him. Huge fan of him. Actually, he reminded me of myself, just like Donald Glover did. I honestly think that Donald Glover is me in a parallel universe. I'm just going to keep it a stack. With that being said, Shia LaBeouf. I loved him on Even Stevens. And Shia LaBeouf did Transformers and lost his fucking mind. He lost it, okay? He started going absolutely bonkers. And I don't know why. Why he wanted to be a tough guy all of a sudden. Like, all of a sudden, these guys that, have these roles as people would think that are not as, I guess, masculine, I guess. He always plays the nerdy guy, but he wants to prove to the world that he's just as tough as somebody. I don't get it. He just went on some type of
Maybe
ridiculous.
it was because he's getting typecasted as that geeky, nerdy people, and maybe people outside of that are treating him like that.
But he took it to a whole other level.
know.
He's out here fighting people in the bar, stealing people's scripts, then cussing them out after he did it. You know.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't heard about this.
Oh yeah, there was a script he stole, and he told the person he stole it from, "You should be happy that it's me that produced it." So, and again, I'm a huge fan of Shyla. Huge fan. Even Stevens was my shit. I used to rush home to watch it. I loved Even Stevens. I knew, I said, he's going to be something someday, you know? And so I'm in Transformers, like, yeah, you know, that's the Shyla, you know, or Shyla.
Do you remember him in True Confessions? Did you watch that on Disney?
No, I didn't.
When he played a child with a mental illness?
Mm-mm. You
need to get Disney Plus, Thomas. All that is on there.
I didn't watch it. So he fell off to the wayside. There was another one. I think thing happened with Tobey Maguire. I thought Tobey Maguire was going to be a big deal, and he. Go ahead.
Have you seen Molly's Game though?
No. No, I haven't.
You need to watch Molly's Game, okay? Because it's like mostly a true story, and it's based on a lot of real people, and there's speculation because, you know, Molly, the lady that Molly is based on, wrote a book because she was running high stakes poker games in, I believe, New York and LA. I can't remember completely, but I'm pretty sure it was New York and LA. And there's all these characters, and she changed the names in the books of who these real people were. Yeah. But some of them are allegedly Brad Pitt, and one is the Michael Cera is character allegedly is Tobey Maguire. Yeah. But if it's true, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I wasn't there, I wasn't at a high stakes poker game. Yeah. If it's true, if the Michael Cera character is based on Tobey Maguire, he might not be very nice. And there's quite a bit of speculation that maybe, and you know, he was young and famous, and maybe he's entirely different now. People go through their phases. I'll give him the benefit of doubt. Everybody deserves a second chance, but I think at one point in time, if it's true, he might not have been the most square guy.
Fair enough. You know who I also think is a phenomenal actress and doesn't get her due?
Who?
Oh man, what is her name? Oh, I'm having a brain fart. Forgive me. She was Mary Jane in Batman with Tobey Maguire.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst was fantastic in Interview with a Vampire. When I saw her in Interview with a Vampire, I said she's going to be huge. She's amazing. I don't think she gets a lot of. She is an amazing actress. She was in a movie that was about the Holocaust. She was phenomenal in. I don't think she gets her due. She's, in my opinion, she's brilliant.
Is she still acting?
I think she's producing more now than acting. A lot of them are. You know, for example, I really enjoy Sandra Bullock. I know she's not the greatest actress, but I like her.
The girl's got an Oscar.
Huh?
She's got an Oscar.
And for what movie?
Blindside.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I stopped watching the Oscars years ago. It just became a fucking fashion show to me. And I just, you know, I don't want to get into why I don't watch the Oscars anymore. But with that being said, yeah, I liked her. What are y'all opinions of Jennifer Lopez as an actress? She was great in Anaconda.
I liked her in Anaconda. I liked her as Selena. But that's probably about the last two movies I ever saw her
You didn't like her in Enough? I love a movie Enough.
I don't think I've seen Enough, but I saw
Watch it.
Gigolo or whatever, how you pronounce that name of that movie with her in that. That was the last time I watched her.
Hey, Monster-in-Law is a great time.
Ah, gotcha. I never saw that. Never saw that movie.
Oh, I love Monster-in-Law. It's fun.
What do you guys think happened to what's his name? I am having brain fart to these actors' names today. You gotta forgive me. Austin Powers, Mike Myers. What happened to Mike Myers?
I'm not entirely sure, but allegedly after Love Guru kind of didn't do very well. I think he just kind of fell out of public favor, which sucks because I love Austin Powers so much. I love him. My sister and I quote Cat in the Hat more to each other than we probably quote any other movie ever. I think he needs to just give us Austin Powers 4, and he'll be back in good graces.
Well, in Shrek, he did great in Shrek, but I think
Shrek is awesome.
I guess a little known fact about the Cat in the Hat movie he did. The wife of the gentleman that wrote Cat in the Hat books, she was so appalled by his portrayal that she said that the studios are not allowed to do any more movies with him and Cat in the Hat. I don't know why.
I wasn't a fan of the Cat in the Hat.
He was not pleased.
I thought that movie was hysterical.
We had to ban that in school. We can't even watch that with the kids anymore. We're like, this is too much.
Okay, let's do it. Mike Myers, Jim Carrey. Who you got?
What? Who's funnier?
Who do you think? Yeah, who do you think makes the funnier movies?
I'm an unpopular opinion because I don't really find neither one of them that funny. But
Okay.
I would take Jim Carrey over Mike Myers. If I have to, I would take Jim Carrey.
Okay, Brie.
God, I don't know, because if we're putting Ace Ventura up to Austin Powers, it's hard. It's hard. I think.
The detective.
Because and then even if you're just putting up Grinch against Cat in the Hat, I think they're both hysterical. Like if you put their relatively even movies up against each other, I don't know. I think Grinch takes it for me over Cat in the Hat, but I think I gotta give it to Austin Powers over Ace Ventura.
Interesting. I gotta go with Ace because do not touch the dude. So the second movie was hysterical when he walked into that room and he started screaming as he was looking around, and then turns back and says, "This is a room of death."
Are we gonna ignore Wayne's World though?
Wayne's World was great, but the first one was great. The second one was it was okay. Now the Grinch and Cat in the Hat. You know, the Grinch, the way he portrayed the Grinch, and you know, oh God, I don't know if you can. I put it like this. I enjoyed more thoroughly his portrayal of the Grinch because I thought it was spot on, and I will take it a step further. It's an unpopular opinion, but I thoroughly enjoyed Bruce Almighty. I thought it was hysterical.
It wasn't that bad.
Especially a boy, and this is pretty much one of the scenes that's been memed since it started, where he started messing with the guy from The Office. What's his name? The guy who plays the main character in The Office.
Steve Carell.
Carell. I think that's where he got popular, from that scene where he started making Steve Carell start saying gibberish during the movie. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was hysterical. But when it comes to great actors and things like that, what are y'all opinions on this? Now, again, I am a fan of Ashton Kutcher, a very unpopular opinion. And the reason I like Ashton Kutcher was because it's his portrayal in one of my favorite movies of all time, The Butterfly Effect, the original. I thought Ashton Kutcher he's a comedian. He's known for his quick wits and, you know, more of comedian aspects of films and TV shows that he's portrayed in. But when I saw him in The Butterfly Effect, he wasn't that at all. And I thought he did a fantastic job in that movie. I love The Butterfly Effect. And I give him high marks for that. Not many comedians can make that transition and then still be believable. I think that's one of the things that Jim Carrey struggles with, at least in my eyes, because it's very hard for me to take Jim Carrey seriously in some of his more serious movies. Not to say they're not good. It's just very difficult for me to kind of take, you know, The Mask or like I said, Ace Ventura and stuff like that out when I'm watching it. Another good actor that I didn't talk about is Marky Mark, Mark Wahlberg. I love Mark Wahlberg. You know, I thought he was great in the last couple of movies he did. Go ahead, Britt.
So I have something to say about Ashton Kutcher and now about Mark Wahlberg, if that's okay. And they're kind of contrasting. So I think it's so neat that Ashton Kutcher has done so much good stuff. A lot of people don't know this, but he testified in Congress because he's part of making this app or this coding or technology that helps find human trafficking victims. So like it's fascinating thing. It's just cool when people have like this kind of money and influence at a platform that they go and do something that really doesn't affect them personally. Like he was like, on 2.5 Men, he's doing great, everything, and to go, well, this is more important, so I need to go do this is really, really cool. And then entirely out of left field, if you go to Aldi's, they sell Wahlburgers sauce and Wahlburgers pickles. And let me tell you, both of them check my box. They're both fantastic.
Speaking about the trafficking situation, what did you guys think when they found there was a big old child trafficking ring that was exposed? And some of the people that were found out was that chick from Smallville and some other people. Did y'all hear about that? Oh yeah, it was a big child sex trafficking ring that got caught, and that chick from Smallville was caught up in it. You Google that. That was crazy, and that's one of the aspects of Hollywood that I find disturbing. And I don't want to get conspiratorial here, but I do know a lot of weird shit happens. People in Hollywood are weird. Let's keep it in the stack. They're weird. They have a lot of money. They have access to a lot of things. The outside persona that we see on the red carpet is 90% not them, for the most part. So, I mean, I get it. Not saying every person in Hollywood's a creep. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there are individuals that have some very interesting lifestyles, to say the least. With that being said, when it comes to another actor I want to know what happened to, whatever happened to Josh Hartnett?
Who?
You know what I'm talking about? You never saw the what's one of my favorite movies? Usher played in it. And I think what was his name? It was about, Suzette, you know what I'm talking about? It was about I think high school students, and an alien invasion happened. What is it called? It was also 30 Days a Night, but it was a Josh Hartnett was in it. I think Elijah Wood was in it as well, I think.
You just go look it up.
Yeah, it was a movie that I love. You haven't seen it? If you guys haven't seen it, I would say definitely watch it. It's a classic. So,
do you know who Hollywood did so dirty, though?
Who?
Let me set the tone for you.
Okay.
My sister and I, before COVID, were sitting in the movie theater, and we've had a shared experience of our childhood. There's a certain brand of films that we have loved together.
Yes.
So we're sitting in the movie theater. We're going to go see whatever we're going to see, and this trailer starts playing for Scoob, the new Scooby-Doo film. And we're sitting there, and we're excited. We're like, yes, more Scooby-Doo. Our life is continuing. And then Shaggy starts talking, and it's not Matthew Lillard. And that is criminal. It is. He has been Shaggy since that live action one came out in like 2001 or something. And he's been in like the games and the live action and the TV show and the movies. And like, I think from one of his posts, they just didn't even tell him. Like they announced the movie and the cast before he even knew. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. Because Shaggy has a very weird legacy. Like, until Matthew Lillard took over, it was like Casey Kasem for decades. So like this, for whatever reason, the role of Shaggy is like handed down like a torch, and it got taken from Matthew Lillard, who raised us as Shaggy, and it's terrible. And I watched a video the other day that almost brought like tears to my eyes about him talking about how he got the role of Shaggy, and I was like, this is so wrong that he doesn't have it. He said he went to Hollywood and went to Warner Brothers, and he had been in like a couple of movies before it, like the She's All That or something like that. I think he was even in Scream beforehand. So people knew who he was. But he said to get the Shaggy voice, because it's so like raspy, he would scream until his voice was like broken. So he said he was sitting in his car in the parking lot of Warner Brothers screaming at the wheel before his audition. And the director walked by and was like, are you okay? And then he's Shaggy. And it just, I can't forgive Hollywood. I can't move past it.
Well let me ask you this. Did you ever watch any of the old Matrix movies, Brie?
I saw the first Matrix.
You never seen the second or third? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, I think something similar happened to me with the Matrix. There's a new Matrix movie, and they have released a trailer for Matrix 4. I would advise you watch the other two. Actually, rewatch part 1 and watch the other 2 as long as whether probably be a pretty good watch. Again, I'll say this again: it's one of the most underrated romance films of all time. With that being said, they did Lawrence Fishburne, who was Morpheus. I feel that they did him dirty because the new Matrix movie, came out and they have some completely different dude as Morpheus. And I'm like, why? Where's Lawrence Fishburne? I said, it's not like Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne aren't like this because they were just doing the assassin movie with him, John Wick. Mm-hmm. They were doing that together. So it's not like he did not know what was going on. And I want to know, was it his decision or did somebody else make a call? And it's hard for me to believe that Keanu Reeves or anybody of that old cast did not want to bring him back. Maybe it's old age. Maybe it doesn't feel like he can move the same, I don't know.
I mean, is it possible that he's done with it? He's like, I've moved on. Maybe he's like, I've built this whole other career beyond this. I'm not going back to one of my first roles. I don't know. It's possible.
Listen, I'm not saying he needs the money. Pretty sure he doesn't need the money. But probably be one of the biggest checks he would get in a long time. Because the Matrix is going to sell tickets simply because of the name.
Right. So, but does it sell or doesn't it go like straight to, I'm looking at it, doesn't it go to like straight to HBO? It
goes to the theaters and HBO Max. It's going to both.
And HBO Max, okay.
Going to HBO Max and theaters. Absolutely. It's one of both of them. So I am a little nervous because Hollywood has been
trash,
disappointing me, yes, in recent times. It's just been god-awful. I haven't been able to watch a movie that I've really, really, really enjoyed in a very long time, which is a tragedy. And again, I find myself rewatching House, which I'm doing now. Just going through all the seasons again, just rewatching them on Amazon. Simply because of the fact that Hugh Laurie is amazing. Okay, so and another thing, let me ask you one more thing before we go. We gotta get wrapped up because let's be on an hour and a half.
Hold on, Thomas. I found your movie. It's called The Faculty.
Thank you. That's what it's called. The Faculty. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's great. It's great. You won't be disappointed. It's really good. Before I go, I want to ask something really quickly to you guys. What would you consider a guilty pleasure for yourselves when it comes to film? Like a movie that you like that you're ashamed to watch, or a show that you like that you're ashamed to watch but you enjoy it.
Gosh, I watch so much true crime and that feels really wrong. I do. I was laughing about it the other day because I just got started past my 2-year mark at my job. And I remember, I don't remember what specifically I said, but I was helping my boss load up a truck the first week I was there. And he was like, well, what do you like? And I said something really creepy akin to true crime. I was like, I think this guy did it. And he was like, what? So I guess that's kind of it because it's not in a sick way. I don't think it's fun or cool. I think it's because it's so outside of the realm of my understanding. I can't be bored with it because I just can't figure out how can somebody do this. It just, every time I'm still it gets my gears turning unbelievably. So I guess true crime stuff, all true crime gets me going, that Forensic Files and everything like that.
Gotcha. Sue?
I don't know. A lot of people think it's weird that I go back and watch stuff like Ed, Ed and Eddie and all these old shows now that it's on HBO Max. So I guess it's going to be old school cartoons that I grew up with that I will sit there hours and hours and feel fine about myself.
I'll watch Billy and Mandy anytime, any day.
You know that what they probably can't be. Before I get to mine, you know what can't be aired anymore? Probably.
What
is classic. First of all, the Boondocks can't be. They can't. Boondocks in this climate cannot be aired. Boondocks is number one. But the other one was what is it called? Robot Chicken. Robot Chicken was so gratuitous. It was fire. Robot Chicken was great. Don't get me wrong. I love Robot Chicken. I'm watching it on HBO Max to this day. It's hilarious. But the jokes they will not get away with today. But my guilty pleasure would have to be, I'm just gonna keep it a stack. Flavor of Love. That era of reality show, like whatever, something about the debauchery of, those type of shows, I thoroughly enjoyed. I even remember watching, what was it? The Bachelor. I've seen The Bachelor, but when it first came out, just those type of shows, I felt guilty watching them because they're ridiculous, but I enjoyed them.
Well, nothing can beat New York. Come on, nothing can beat New York when it comes to Flavor of Love.
Yes, indeed. Go ahead, Brie.
I think The Bachelor has kind of fallen off for me, which is sad because I think initially, and it's probably, this is sick to say, I'm sure, because what was fun about The Bachelor initially is it seemed like everybody really believed it. Like everybody was there because they really were going to win. They really meant it. They were there for love. A lot of them really were genuine. But now so many of them seem like they're there because they know they're going to get an Instagram sponsor. They're going to be on Dancing with the Stars after. Like so many, it's almost none of them seem like they're there for my entertainment. They seem like they're there for their paycheck. And I'm like, no, I want to see you do something crazy. Well, I have my popcorn. Gosh.
Do any of them stay together?
It's like a
divorce.
It's like a really small percent. I think there's maybe 2 couples that are still together. But I guess that's a terrible, sick thing to say. But like so many of them come on and they have like this really weird personality and quirk and everything. I'm like, you're trying to stand out. So we start doing like #David or something like that. But they all are immediately have 2 million followers on Instagram and they're sponsored by the Detox Teas. And then they're on Dancing with the Stars. And then they're on the talk shows and everything. And it's not fun anymore because it's almost like a content house. It's not a really silly, mindless reality TV show anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I heard when you get on Dancing with the Stars, it's over. So might as well kiss it goodbye. But yeah, this has been great, guys. Thank you, Brie, for coming out. We enjoyed it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And with that, I want to say thank you to everybody that's coming in and watching. I'll be watching afterwards. I appreciate you giving us a look. We're working hard out here to get some more guests on here and hopefully people that you know. With that being said, thank you so much for your time and y'all take care.
Thank you.
Hey.
All right.